Good day, Hilderland family. Today we are spending some time in Chesterville, and with me today we have Thami as well as Peter and they will be sharing their story with us as to what they have experienced over the last couple of days during this looting, and how they have come together to work together and to create a bit of hope in this season.
I've known Peter for close to 25 years. He taught me at Matric, but beyond that, he's a friend of this church, my family, and this community. So when the whole looting wave and vandalizing swept the country, well, swept KZN mainly last week, we decided to be proactive. Beyond the issue of food security, another big talking point at the time was the racial tensions that were rising. You know, we could observe what was happening at the South Coast, Amanzimtoti, and North Coast, Phoenix. So we decided to be proactive and try and mobilize our community leaders, civic society, church leaders, politicians, anyone, any stakeholder. You know.
And so basically we, together with a colleague, I was representing the Westville Ministers Fraternal, and a colleague and I, we couldn't actually drive into the community because of the community checkpoint. And so we had to walk, and Thami, we came here and we met with a group of about 10 or 12 community leaders, the Taxi Association, Youth League, Women's League, etc., Civic Association. And basically we just found very reasonable people who had exactly the same desires as the people of Westville. A desire for peace, a desire for stability, a desire to continue with their lives. There was no threat, and there was no desire for any violence. And so we were able to take that message back to Westville, to the CPF, the Community Policing Forum. And I think the very significant moment was the agreement that we would meet up at the pavilion on Thursday night, 9 o'clock.
So the more we spoke, and especially when we held that meeting, we decided that no, you know, just to alleviate those fears, we would go to Westville at those checkpoints, stand with our neighbors from Westville, guard those checkpoints, and then we would have an ongoing process where, you know, we dialogue about race relations, ethnic relations, and so forth. You know, but that's what we agreed on, that this should be an ongoing process.
And it was potentially ominous. It was cold, it was 9 o'clock at night, and they had the police there, and it was actually just a very cordial meeting with a little bit of laughing, a little bit of difference, out in the cold up on the bridge. And then after that meeting, we realized that we actually have the same desires and the same things in common. We then took the group of 10 leaders from Chesterville up to the roadblock, which was supposedly protecting the Westville community from these very people. And we stood around the fires together and we talked and we introduced. It was an incredible moment just to realize that actually the ignorance that we have, as Thami has correctly said, that so often our fears are based on ignorance and lack of understanding. And so I really believe that this particular moment, as undesirable as it is and as damaging as it's been and destructive and job losses and food insecurity, there really is another moment in time for us as South Africans to perhaps undo some of our past, and it's going to force us to create fora where we can have these kind of discussions.
So we feel that the church at this particular juncture, you know, should rise up and speak to the powers that be, and we even pray that God may give us the wisdom, the strength to raise a new breed of believers who will stand in the corridors of power and speak truth to power.
So as much as this is a good news story and it's an exciting story, we can't go back to church as usual and life as usual. This has to be a wake-up call that the church must be the epicenter of racial reconciliation. We must build multicultural community very intentionally, and we must speak up for economic justice, and we must disciple our people to levels of morality and citizenship and economic stewardship and agency, which perhaps has been lacking. And so the church really needs to have a very good look at itself in the mirror and ask what we need to do differently moving forward.
I honestly think that God is giving us an opportunity to look at ourselves, you know, to honestly look at ourselves and appreciate that our problems are not just our problems, to appreciate each other's challenges, different communities that are different from us. God is giving us an opportunity to get off our comfort zone and you know, do something for this country. And as we rebuild, I pray and hope that we use the right material, I definitely think there's hope. There's hope, man. The way that the church has responded, it shows that there is absolute hope, and I trust that we built on this momentum.